What about your children growing up in this country who would need help? We youths are supposed to be the future, but we are not hearing anything about job creation, job development, or jobs in general. This PNM government must go. I said they must go. Mr. Imbert, you are talking about an economic turnaround, but what turnaround is there when the country's GDP has been steadily declining from since y'all got into office in 2015? GDP moved from $27 billion under the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar in 2014 to only $22 billion in 2017 under this PNM regime. The income that each household earned has steadily been declining as well, and that is as a result of the increases in the unemployment rate. Is this a turnaround? Is this a turnaround? When you speak about the inflation rate being at an all-time low, during recessionary periods, it is expected to be low, given that the people, we just don't have the money to buy the goods and services. Many of us are struggling to buy basic food items. Food prices continue to rise while wages remain relatively constant, and that's for those who are fortunate enough in maintaining their jobs. For those that are unemployed, like myself, you know the saying goes, crap or smoke we pipe. The PNM must go. When you look at super gasoline, which is the most used fuel in Trinidad and Tobago, the price moved from $3.11 per liter to $3.58, then to $3.97, then finally to $4.97. Are you going to increase it again in the upcoming 2019-2020 budget? What is going on? People are already suffering as a result of these price increases. What turnaround is there? Turnaround for whom? We can't even win a play with Mark without it being taxed. All this government know how to do is tax, 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 and incorporate more tax. Get rid of them. The PNM must go. Crime is another factor that this government has failed to solve. In 2015, the murder rate was 420. 2016, 463. 2017, 494. And 2018, 516. As you can see, there's an upward trend. And at this rate, this year is going, God forbid. It looks like it'll be 700 at the end of the year. April being the bloodiest month with 49 murders. This government doesn't have a clear-cut plan to solve anything. This high crime rate is as a result of the high levels of unemployment, poverty, and poor living standards that were created under this PNM government. Again, they must go. The PNM government must go. You know what they say? You never miss the water until the well runs dry. Under the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, at least we had jobs, at least we were taken care of, the youths were working. We the youths are supposed to be the future. We are supposed to pave the way for the future generation. But how can we do that under this PNM government? It isn't even possible. With increased taxation, high levels of unemployment, rising food prices, the additional Venezuelan migrant situation, and higher levels of crime and poverty. How can we do that? It's not possible under this uncaring, unthoughtful, and as far as I'm seeing, on everything PNM government. They must go! The PNM government must go! Thank you and good night. The PNM government must go!
solution to this pollution. Yeah, got to find a solution to this pollution. Oh, gotta find a solution to this pollution.
Live from the constituency of San Fernando West, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former Petrotrin employee Faza Rojan.
Political leader of the United National Congress, the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, members of Parliament, other esteemed members of the party, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Fazad Rojan, a now former employee of Petrotrin. I am 41 years old with close to 20 years of service to the energy sector of this country. That's over half my life and certainly accounts of my full adult working life. My best years given not just to a company, but to my country. In 1999, I received my journeyman certificate in industrial maintenance with the Metal Industry Company and was offered a training program with the Petroleum Company of Trinidad and Tobago for a period of 4 years. As a young man now entering into the world of work, it was an opportunity of a lifetime. I vividly remembered that I started mapping out my future as anyone who had gotten this opportunity knew that with hard work, this could be the beginning of the future I dreamt of. Stability, stability, stability. Those were the words that kept running through my mind as I embarked upon this journey. In 1999, after my training was completed, I was able to secure temporary employment with Petrotrin for a period of 10 years. During that time, I was able to purchase my own home in close proximity to the company. I got married and started a family. In 2009, I attained permanent employment with the company, and with that, I felt secure in the knowledge that again, with hard work and commitment, my family and I would be set for the future. My job at Petrotrin allowed me the benefits of a medical plan, a savings plan, and a pension plan. It was reassuring to know that if at any point during the night any member of my family fell ill, that we would have access to quality medical attention. I was very grateful in 2018, July, when I was able to access the medical benefit plan and obtain a major surgery within 24 hours. In the early part of 2018, there were many rumors of the closure of Petrotrin. We, the employees, never imagined that any of us would have been told by our supervisors, sorry, but it's your last day in the office. I was faced with many unresolved questions contemplating, what will I do then? How will I be able to provide for my young family? Although I had my own home and vehicle, where would I get the money to pay the mortgages? What about the monthly bills? What about my children's education and future? School books, uniforms, groceries, any expense that comes with day-to-day living. These questions did not plague only me, but also many of my comrades, both permanent and temporary. Personally, my health deteriorated due to the stress of these unanswered questions. The major thought that replays in my mind, it should a repeat of my unfortunate medical history reoccur. What do I do? In Trinidad and Tobago, we have a highly skilled population, and the government has simply not been able to create any jobs, neither can the private enterprises, who are presently not hiring or even paying well because it's an employer's market in the energy industry globally. Then there are those like me who possess technical qualification, but I'm still unable to find a job. Any job suited for my academic qualifications and years of experience. It is a fact that the number of people who are without jobs is increasing day by day in our country. There is no doubt that our nation is grappling with the grave issue of unemployment and the mental and other health issues arising as a result. My story is not unique. There are thousands of my comrades who can echo the same chorus. I can only hope that the country hears our cry and that some urgent measures would be taken to improve the quality of life to alleviate some of these unnecessary problems that are plaguing our beautiful Twin Island Republic. Thank you not just for listening air, but for the opportunity to have had my hope renewed that someone is listening and someone is willing to help us return to productivity and dignity, which is what we all want. To work hard for our country and a safe and secure environment for our family. I believe Kamla Prasad Bisesa is the only one with a plan to bring back jobs to the country. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you and good night.
To find a solution to this pollution, yeah. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Oh, gotta find a solution to this pollution.
Live from the constituency of San Fernando West, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Coordinator for the constituency of San Fernando West, Danny Moharaj.
The poor man I feel,
Look at people! Good night, esteemed political leader, members of the United National Congress who have gathered here in their thousands upon thousands upon thousands in the hills of San Fernando here. I say here tonight in San Fernando, together as a nation, we ring the alarm and we sound the sirens. This Rowley government is a national disaster. Do you agree? We have been walking through this constituency, listening to the issues and exchanging ideas from Sunset Cove, Bel Air, Gulview, La Romaine, through the heart of the city, to Vista Bella and Marabella. Through these walks, we have heard the story of the great magician, a man who appeared for the election in 2015 and then disappeared. They say he should be in Las Vegas with David Copperfield and Chris Angel. Constituents are searching far and wide. They have been up and down Independence Avenue 100 times. I say tonight, they beg your assistance. They are asking, if you see this gentleman, please contact San Fernando West. I want to say the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West has abandoned the constituency. I want to say that he has forsaken San Fernando. PNM Minister Alison West earlier this year quoted, I want to quote her, when she said, in the last couple of years, when I have driven down to San Fernando, I have been distressed by the fact that San Fernando to me seems to be turning more and more into a shanty town. This is a PNM minister that is saying this. Friends, in San Fernando, many businesses have been forced to close down and many more are on the brink. Owners report between 50 to 80% decline in revenue. Businesses have to be subsidized by personal savings and borrowings. But for how long? But for how long? Businesses that span generations, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, are now struggling to keep their doors open. I still see the face of the gentleman who told me of his 50-year-old jewelry business that is now on the edge. The strangling hands of the I.A.N. brutal economic policies may soon leave these glass cases empty and put a death to a legacy story. I still hear the voice of the young lady who runs a souvenir shop, a family business that was started over 36 years ago. A bright, hard-working person who wants to build upon the sweat of her parents. She is now saying that those shells with key holders and trinkets of pan and other local craft may soon have to be cleared. People have been migrated out of the city, and others are making applications. In San Fernando, crime is rampant, traffic is a nightmare, roads are dilapidated, and schools are overcrowded. The San Fernando West Hospital is a horror story. Do you all agree? Our great leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Visesa, was implementing a master plan to improve the public healthcare system. Remember well, it was under her leadership that the San Fernando Training Hospital was built very close by. Plans were on the way for a hospital in Pinal. The Point Fortin Hospital was started. The Couva Children's Hospital was completed. Polyclinics were also being developed. This would have removed the burden that plagues the San Fernando General Hospital. I'm sure you all would agree, it is one of the worst feelings in the world to look at a loved one who is awaiting medical attention and not knowing if it is a matter of life or death, and have to wait for hours upon hours and upon hours, calling people, do you know someone? Do you know someone? Let us get attention. Never again in Trinidad and Tobago. It must be like that. Parking is also a major problem in San Fernando and a serious impediment to businesses like in High Street and St. James Street and Mokarapo Street. The busiest business seems to be the wrecking business. We must take action to encourage visitors and shoppers to our commerce centers. Some are suggesting a multi-story car park with a shuttle service that moves through parts of the city. Friends, people are struggling to pay their bills, meet their loan commitments, send their children to school, and put food on the table, while the Member of Parliament gets his champagne wishes and caviar dreams fulfilled. Do you agree? While the city is forsaken, other cities are innovating and advancing around the world. The concept of smart cities are taking effect. Technology is now being used to create new levels of convenience and safety. For instance, cities like Chicago and Baltimore are using smart surveillance, real-time crime mapping, gunshot detection systems, which can reduce crime between 30 and 40%. Places such as Hamburg and Amsterdam are using smart parking facilities where sensors are used to indicate vacant parking spots, which is shown on an online application. Cities as London and Vancouver have real-time transit systems. Look at this. Look at where places in the world are. We are here bright people. We are rated as a very rich country in the Caribbean. And why it is we cannot be at those levels? It is based on the type of administration of the People's National Movement who has governed us for far too long in Trinidad and Tobago. Austria's capital is reputed to be one of the world's greenest cities. Vienna is projected to install over 300,000 solar panels by 2020. Why can't we make San Fernando a smart city too? But I say to you, to have a smart city, we must have a smart government. But what we have is a rowdy government. Look at what is happening in other parts of the world. And here in San Fernando, the PNM is making us jobless. They are killing our businesses and making us dodge bullets while laughing at us. They are laughing at us. Friends, we have been listening to the man of the street, to residents, business people, religious leaders, and other stakeholders. And we are devising extensive programs to give new life to this forsaken city. We will make San Fernando the great city it ought to be. Tonight, here in San Fernando, I make a declaration here tonight in San Fernando. Tonight I say to you that we'll make the changes that are necessary. We will take the actions that are required. We will come together in a magnificent collection of human will and determination to free ourselves from those that want us to be prisoners in our own homes, from those that are crushing the spirit of free enterprise, and from those that are snatching away the education from our children. Tonight I say that we are indivisibly connected in our freedom pursuit. And I see a day ahead into the future when from the top of San Fernando Hill, we can look upon a glorious city. And in the words of the great late Martin Luther King, we shall say, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
To find a solution to this pollution, yeah. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Oh, gotta find a solution to this pollution.
Live from the constituency of San Fernando West, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Attorney at Law, Sean Soberts.
Yeah.
Good night to the Honorable Political Leader, Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Senior Counsel, Honorable Members of both Houses of Parliament, Members of the National Executive, and you, the distinguished members of the constituency of San Fernando West. As per my introduction, I am an attorney at law, born and bred here in the city of San Fernando. I attended Presentation College, San Fernando, so it's a bit amusing standing here in Naparima College, my second choice school. But as facetious as that is, I'm here tonight to comment on this incompetent government's approach with respect to the kind of legislation being brought to the Parliament. You see, any caring administration's responsibility is to ease the suffering of its people. And what more than rampant crime and an economy that has plummeted to an all-time low has that tragic effect on us here in Trinidad and Tobago. That this wicked and incompetent administration can be quoted in every daily newspaper saying that their legislative agenda is geared towards reducing crime and easing the backlog built up in the criminal justice system and kickstarting our economy. We know that this incompetent government's failing legislative agenda has profoundly affected the poor and underprivileged youth trapped in a criminal justice system that has all but ground to a halt.
Being a practitioner here in San Fernando, I can tell you what the real state of the justice system is. The great legacy of the People's National Movement. That the San Fernando Magistrates Court, just a stone's throw away, that building is no more. It has been closed for over 2 years, reduced to a shanty structure with a tarpaulin adorning its rooftop. That the same San Fernando Magistrates Court has been operating on a shift system with the San Fernando Supreme Court. And here I was thinking that we got rid of this junior secondary shift system. But that's just like the PNM to regress and not progress. That because of the now onerous burden placed on the court building by the sharing of 2 court jurisdictions, resources have begun to run thin. There are daily complaints of lack of basic items such as toilet paper, and the kitchenettes for staff are running thin. Amenities and resources such as the air conditioning and recording system in some courtrooms are non-functional. That the situation was so bad that recently a sitting High Court judge of the San Fernando Supreme Court complained that the court neither had ink nor paper to print orders and judgments of the court. That the incompetent response of these issues by the People's National Movement is to stand up in the Parliament and talk about a suite of legislation and a suite of laws. The judiciary can't even buy a sweetie, but they're talking about suite of legislation. But we the people in San Fernando West, like the rest of Trinidad and Tobago, know all this talk about legislation and its effect are a bunch of bold-faced lies, fables told to children. What a shameless bunch of people they are. I want to tell this lying, incompetent PNM administration that we here in San Fernando West, we aren't children. We are responsible, hard-working adults, and we know the truth. What we know to be the truth is that crime is on a daily rise in the southern city. What we know to be the truth is the shooting of 2 persons in Taradale on the 13th of May 2019, which resulted in the death of Ryan Alexander. What we know to be the truth is the shooting death of a 71-year-old man, Joseph Phillip, after visiting his son right in front of the Gulf City Mall. The Gulf City Mall on the 18th of March of this year. What we know to be the truth is the double murder that occurred in January in Pleasantville of Jamie Donaldson and Akimi Wilson, which was caused by what the police say to be a high-powered rifle. A high-powered rifle in San Fernando? What we know to be the truth is that our once peaceful city of San Fernando is rapidly turning into a war zone. We have heard the truth of various business people being forced to close by my colleagues who spoke before me, signs of a failed economy. And we know what can only be described as one of the greatest tragedies to impact the people of San Fernando was the closure of Petrotrin. How many of us are hurt every single time we drive to and from San Fernando and notice that once eternal flame that burned so bright from the silo in Petrotrin has been extinguished by this wicked and callous Rowley government. I stand before you, a proud son of San Fernando, having been born right up the road in the San Fernando General Hospital. Went to preschool right across the road on Sutton Street at Sacred Heart Montessori. Attended primary school a stone's throw away on Harris Street at St. Paul's Anglican Primary. And then secondary school on a hill quite like this, located on Carib Street at Presentation College. I know and love this city because by testament, it's the first city I know. A city that their own Allison West degraded by calling it a shanty town. A shanty town due to their thoughtless decision and their self-serving deals. And then they mock us and call our home a shanty town. Well, I tell you, because of their callousness and incompetence, the PNM administration must never see the corridors of power in San Fernando again for the destruction they cause. I can tell you that every time that incompetent government utilizes parliamentary space, it's not to proffer good legislation, but to spew political propaganda and what we in the Senate term empty talk. But I want to tell Dr. Rowley and his band of zealots something. I want Dr. Rowley and his band of zealots to know. I want them to know something that we the people of San Fernando West here already know. Something that can be considered a stinging indictment on their failing legacy. Empty talk does not fill empty wallets. Empty talk does not put food on empty tables. And empty talk does not fill empty bellies. This runaway crime, failed criminal justice system, and crumbled economy may seem hopeless, but alas, my friends, it's not. The hope for a better tomorrow is lodged inside of us all. It just has to manifest itself, and it can do so in the only political party that is people-centered and truly future-driven. It can do so with the United National Congress. And it can and will do so under the leadership of Ms. Kamla Prasad Bisesa. My friends, I tell you, dark times of which we are in are not foreign to this country. But it is within these dark times that we must truly dig deep and find that political will to win. Before I leave, I would like to leave you with a quote from Mr. Edward Everett Hale. And this quote was passed on to me by none other than the political leader herself in one of the many conversations that I've had with her. But in this first conversation, I had a flurry of questions to ask with respect to all that has been transcended upon this country. What plan? What are we going to do? And she told me a plethora of things to fix this situation. And I was bewildered, and I wanted to know, how could this one woman, this one leader, be able to change this situation? And that's when she told me, just like Edward Everett Hale, a revolutionary in the United States, who put forth his voice to abolish slavery and to bring education for all, she said, just like he did, I am only one, but yet still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. That something that you can do is whenever the election bell is tolled, make your way down to the election booth and vote the United National Congress and respect, restore peace and harmony to all.
Ladies and gentlemen, the political leader is here. Please stand and let's welcome the political leader of the United Let's welcome the political leader of the United National Congress, Kamala Prasad Bisesa.
UNC family, good night. We are UNC and we are proud. There is one party. There is one leader, and there will be one government, the government of the UNC.
Tonight, the explosion of discontent, massive job losses, business closures, and runaway crime, all caused by the effects of government's draconian policies. Live from the constituency of San Fernando West, this is a special edition of the United National Congress Monday Night Forum and the One Corridor, One Vision platform. Tonight in San Fernando West, the people demand bread, peace, and justice.
Bring down the power. Now is the time. Bring down the power. Now is the time. Bring down the power of the UNC.
Please welcome business management student Mikel Kalis.
Sufferers don't care who from down. Sufferers only want to hear where the next food coming from.
Honorable political leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, members of parliament, senators, chairmen, councillors, and to the people of San Fernando West and environment, especially my people from the train line in the district of Marbella West, members of the media, make some noise. You know, as a youth of my beautiful twin island, Trinidad and Tobago, I am very proud and delighted to see how many of you all came out here today to support and stand firm with us, the United National Congress. Standing firm to make a positive change in this country. I will give a brief history about myself. My name is Mikhail Kalis. I am 19 years of age, born and grew up in Marbella on the train line and Seaview Drive. I attended San Fernando Central Secondary School, well known as MODSEC, and presently I am furthering my studies at the University of the West Indies, completing my last year there for my BSc in management. I am a son of a distinguished man of the people, Mr. Junior Kalis, the grandson of the former councillor of Marbella West, Miss Gloria Kalis, and the nephew of the Dr. Leroy Kalis, well known as Black Stalin. I'm also a Calypsonian. Growing up around my father and grandmother, witnessing with my own eyes the love they shared to the people of Marbella and even people outside the area, from their hearts always motivated me to help people. They did social programs like Save and Protect the Children, which was a big plus in the area for the kids, Calypso Roving Tents, every carnival season, Mother's Day program, Father's Day program, summer camp for the kids, Diwali program, and Christmas trees. They helped to develop the infrastructure in the area. Another amazing thing they did that touched me was when the natural disasters hit the area, they were the first to be on site to help the people by delivering mattress, hampers, household items, etc., just to make sure the people are comfortable. They worked with the Lions Club, went into schools and distributed stationery to the children who were less fortunate. They held sporting activities for the children so they would not stray and get themselves into trouble. My grandmother and my dad brought famous artists into the area to perform and uplift the train line image like Jupiter, Trinidad Rio, Lady Gypsy, Olonga, and not forgetting the Hoop of Life basketball competition. I must thank the UNC government for paving the Marbella train line, providing the area with proper box trains, street lights, the leisure park, and so many other amenities which improve the quality of life for the people. As a young man from the train line, if given the opportunity, I am ready and willing to take up the responsibilities where my grandmother left off in improving Marbella West. My friends, as a youth who knows the pain of poverty, struggles, suffering, rejection, and cries in the wilderness, my concern is to seek ways of uplifting the grassroots people's lives and create avenues, especially for the youths of our country, so there will be less idling and more progress in positive ways. I always say the youths are more precious than oil, and by not showing us love, proper appreciation, and attention in this place where we live, it forms a bad connection between the system and the youth, and that is where crime mainly starts. Mistakes are sometimes, but the youths need the encouragement to rise up and try again, no matter what consequences they find themselves. My friends, you may have heard of a situation that took place on the train line in Marbella about a year ago. One of my personal friends, a brother to mine, got shot on his birthday. Not any normal day, but on his birthday. R.I.P. Noah Simmons. He was only 16 years old. He was a brother by another mother. Was a very ambitious young man with a lot of potential to strive and achieve his goals in life. in the field of football. He was on the verge of representing the country by portraying his talent out there, and to be a dead person now. He had a dream, $1 million dream that he lost because of a bullet to his chest. My young brothers and sisters, what you think about that? An innocent youth who woke up on his birthday to get a bullet to his chest? This incident shows us that we need to open our eyes and watch the bigger picture. We believe the people in authority in this country have no heart for the people in the ghetto, and that places a rage in the heart of the youths in the ghetto who find themselves going in the wrong direction. We need a change. People, we need a change. When I heard the news of my friend's death, my belly hurt like if Noah was my blood family. But he wasn't blood by family, but blood by loyalty. Leaving your house nowadays and reaching back safely is such a blessing that we need to cherish due to how things are in the country. I know, and you know, good things come from the ghetto. And that is a fact. But the pressure people from on the ground has to go through just to be successful in life is very hard when the present government isn't assisting their own people on the ground to become who they want to become. And that is what makes the area look bad. Because people head on to making their money by doing illegal things. So my people, good things do come from the ghetto. Growing up, I always admired one of my cousins, Jamal, because he stood firm and strong to reach where he is today. My auntie always talked to me and told me how hard he had it to grow up. She was unemployed, and on many occasions she had to dress him for school and walk out in the front and wait on someone to walk down the line just to give him money to go to school. And he stayed focused and fight the battle to become a successful young man today. From hard times to good times. He is doing well. He is doing well at this present time. So just how we could do it, others can. But the way the country is running now, the youth still need a little encouragement just to become like Jamal. When the United National Congress was in power, everyone used to have a bird on their table. And now everything collapsed. People, we need to put God first, love ourselves, love everyone, and uplift our country. No one is perfect. And to become the best, all depends on your mindset. So I am pleading to the people, not only of San Fernando West tonight, but the entire country, to stay focused and do the right thing by putting your finger by the rising sun when the time comes. Before I leave here tonight, I have a personal message to the PNM. I want them to know, we here, we in the face, and we ready for peace.
Anytime you bounce up a racist and you hear them running them out, it have a whole set of people don't care what they talking about. A racist is someone living happy and all their family do it well.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, Members of Parliament, Senators, Councillors, ladies and gentlemen, I must say what a pleasure it is to see this massive crowd here tonight. San Fernando West, are you in the house? One. Some noise, let me make some noise. My name is Luke Bahadur Singh, and I am UNC, and I am proud. You know, I'm back in a school hall here tonight, and I remember those childhood days when we couldn't even wait to reach home from school. Boy, we didn't even want to go on bed, just ready to jump on our bikes and ride down to the fields where we'd play football and cricket until the sun went down. And whenever the coast was clear, we'd climb Uncle Winston mango trees, sometimes spending a good 2 to 3 hours up there, eating until our bellies ready to burst. The only worry we had in those days was if when we got home and couldn't finish the food mommy cooked, it's curtail for sure, as she don't know what went on. And whenever our elders in the neighborhood had chores to do, bet your bottom dollar you find yourself there to help, otherwise again, curtail. These interactions with our elders instill the values needed for our upbringing. Those were the days, our childhood, free, safe, and carefree. Working hard in school to make sure we would get good passes and then good jobs. But those days are now gone. Those days of our childhood dreams, hopes, and wishes ended on September 7, 2015. As today, the worry is not if you'd get your tail cut if you can't finish your food, but if we'd even have food on our tables to begin with. Far less if our children would even get home at all. Because under this Rowley government, we are afraid of our lives. We are afraid for our lives as high levels of crime and kidnapping cover our country in blood. Now parents won't even let their children play outside in their own yards anymore. You can hear stories every day of the increase in school violence. Teachers, pupils getting attacked, stabbed, some even shot. Before we could have looked at a youth doing something wrong and corrected them. Now, you just can't. This government is destroying the very social fabric, discipline, of respect, of dignity. We look to them as exemplars, and this Rowley government, they have none. None, none, none. So this rise in crime rate directly gives credence to the concept of the entire village raising a child. And it also directly affects the morals, values, principles, and characteristics of the individuals that make up our country and society on the whole. These same individuals are the ones more likely to get into that addictive, delinquent, and bad boy path of drug abuse, dropping out of school, and hustling on the blocks, then perhaps picking up a gun. And not to mention, they are more likely to lose their lives before the age of 25. These are the young people who they refer to as pests, criminals, and monsters. Us, that's how they talk about us. Take, for example, the current state of the technical vocational programs in the country. Since this regime came into power, they basically destroyed the viability of these programs, and the main reason these programs were implemented in the first place. In some instances, it provided opportunities for young persons who came from broken homes, who lived a life of poverty to the point they had to drop out from school to work and help in the household. And for those who didn't have that support base to further and excel academically, who would have been pretty limited to jobs due to their lack of qualifications, and would have been more susceptible to gangs and criminal activity on the whole. But they took all that away from us. Under the UNC administration, they implemented stipends as incentives for these young persons to come out from the shadows, better themselves, and gain a skill which would easily qualify them for well-paying progressive jobs. They were now able to earn an honest living, keeping them off the streets and making idle hands productive again. This directly impacted the crime rate and assured a safer Trinidad and Tobago. Under this Rowley and Farris-led administration, my father and other dedicated vocational teachers, lecturers, and patriots who gave up higher-paying jobs in universities to help our young adults because they knew the value of our fragile young ones and the important roles these programs played in society. These dedicated professionals were immediately let go without consultation, warning, and/or time for proper contingency planning. NESC and other tech-work institutions were downsized drastically and are now extremely limited in their course offerings. Some even closed down completely. The government completely stopped the stipends and instead imposed a charge on persons wishing to access these vocational courses. This became a huge disincentive to persons who needed it the most, and thus enrollment fell drastically. You think they're going to apply for a course to try and better themselves when you don't even have money to buy food? When some have a child to see about? No. When they have rent to pay? No. So do they have the tools to make a good, honest living? No. So what are they going to do? They may lose hope and very well turn to a life of crime. Under this current PNM, jokey and vile failure administration, we were able to see an exponential rise in crime, which led to our citizens living in a life of fear, to our country being blacklisted, international travel advisories being implemented, with basically all countries in the world advising their citizens not to travel to our country. Not to travel to our country. Basically killing the tourism industry in half the time of any party's political reign in office. What an accomplishment. And tell me something since we're talking about for the people. Is this a caring government who deliberately set about to destroy over 50,000 jobs? In half the time, those same said number of jobs were created by our previous government led by the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. They cannot deny that. 50,000 jobs. 50,000! And it is they who from September 2015 started slashing jobs left, right, and center. And to do it in such a manner and close these programs, institutions, and companies without any warning, consultations, transparency, and proper neighboring community planning in an already downturn economy, which, by the way, they are directly responsible for, but refuse to take responsibility other than following and sticking to their manifesto of blame Kamla for everything. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take, for example, Petrotrin, the pride and joy of San Fernando West and South on the whole, the backbone of our country. To close the refinery, and to close the refinery, even though 3 reports said the company was viable, and to do it in such a saga, 1 minute they're closing, the next minute they're not. Then boom, all, thousands of workers were sent home, and the refinery was shut down. For what reasons? I don't know. Guess we have to ask Rowley and Avy Drilling about that one, boy. Where the $100 million are the best friend thief? Where? Who getting locked up? But to toy with workers who are patriots of this country mentally and in the manner they did, what about those who have mortgages to pay, loans they took, and a family to feed and take care of? Take, for example, my good childhood friend, I.A.N. Leslie. I.A.N. is right here on stage with me. Son, come. Come, I.A.N. Now, I.A.N. was one of the most promising and brilliant young men of our college in our time, Presentation College San Fernando. He was in UE not too long ago, I.A.N, what were you studying? Tell the crowd.
Communication studies and environmental science.
Look at that. Communication studies and environmental sciences, a double major. And because of that toying with their workers and that lack of consultation and planning, I.A.N's father was one of the all was immediately let go. And with 7 children, their situation went from food on the table to no food at all. And I.A.N was forced into survival mode. He had to leave school. Notwithstanding that if the government had continued with the robust social intervention programs, my friend would probably still be on the fast track to success. However, he has faced his share of challenges, and this promise is now under threat because I.A.N has faced some tough choices and he has made some mistakes in life. Is that what this government is doing to our young people? I am frightened for my friend as I see he has become a shell of himself and is slipping away through the cracks. But ladies and gentlemen, there's reason to have hope, to have courage, to believe in our national motto that once again, together we will aspire and together we will achieve. And we will succeed in removing this sorry excuse called this PNM government. We need to support this national movement for a return to good governance, respect, and dignity in this country. And we need to come together and support the UNC and the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar to save this country. A government of Kamla Persad-Bissessar will ensure persons such as I.A.N again has access to gate, where they would not have to make the choice of pursuing an education or food on the table. He will have access to proper health care, social intervention programs, restitution, and again rekindle that fire of hope to make a contribution to this society. That is why tonight I urge you to ensure Kamla Persad-Bissessar is the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Because she has given us a seat at the table. Every color, every creed, every race, every age. In every place and every space, let us come together. Let us delight in our differences. And let us take our country back again. With Kamla Persad-Bissessar, we will get San Fernando West working again. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow young people, I thank you.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, members of the Parliament, fellow colleagues, ladies and gentlemen of San Fernando West, good evening, everybody! My task tonight is an easy one, to introduce someone who needs no introduction and whose portfolio of achievement speaks for itself. Let me take you on a journey of just a few of these accomplishments. There was a time when each and every secondary school Form 1 student received a laptop upon enrollment into their respective secondary institutions. I personally benefited from this individual's groundbreaking initiative and can definitely say the future of Trinidad and Tobago's young generation lies in their laptops. This laptop in every book bag initiative should not have been removed by the Rowley administration. This person also worked diligently as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago to create over 56,000 jobs. And every young man and woman who wanted to pursue a career had their choice picked of opportunities. This visionary spearheaded the repurposing of the San Fernando Teaching Hospital, and the construction of a brand new yet unused Children's Hospital in Cuba, single-handedly attempting to revamp the healthcare system in our country. So no child, no senior citizen, and no citizen of Trinidad and Tobago would have to wait 72 hours on the corridors of hospitals for a bed. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of San Fernando West, like I said, my task was easy. This woman needs no introduction, as her work speaks for itself and has left a mark in our hearts that cannot be forgotten. This lady is our political leader. She's like a mother of our beautiful nation and probably the best thing that has happened, not only to the UNC, but for Trinidad and Tobago. Please, put your hands together and stand in helping me in the warm welcoming of the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Prasad Visesa, Senior Counsel, Opposition Leader, First Female Prime Minister, and soon to be serving the second term as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to, before I greet you, I want to hail out. Remind you all, we'll bring the new faces, the young faces, and marry them with the experienced faces. Let's give it up for the young team we have here tonight. Shastra Maharaj, Rishi Balram Singh, Sachin, Ronaldo, Fazad, coordinator for the constituency of San Fernando West, Danny Maharaj, Senator Son Sobers, Mikhail Kalis, and we know your father very well, Mikhail. Thank you for joining us. Luke Bahadur Singh, Ishan Leslie, and of course the young man who gave me that very energetic introduction, Navin Singh. Give them all a round of applause. So, UNC posse, UNC family. I think this is like a San Fernando massive, so can we give San Fernando a round of applause? Good evening to all of you. Thank you for coming. Now, I am coming from the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm telling you, the fellow sitting down in that parliament, he has changed the name from Faris Alwari to Faris All Worried. Very worried. You see, they felt they could disrupt this massive meeting here tonight. On Friday, they suddenly found 2 bills and told us we were coming on Monday to debate those 2 bills. So they thought they caught us flat-footed because we weren't prepared, but we have a good team up to last night. Senator Saddam, Senator Sean Sobers, and some of the other lawyers were there with me Saturday and again last night preparing for the work. So all this paper was the work I prepared to deliver in the Parliament today. But you see, when we got there, first of all, they felt flat-footed over the weekend, no staff, no resources, no library open, that we will not be able to prepare, but we have great teams. And so I had to make a decision this evening whether to stay in the Parliament or whether to come and be with you, the people here tonight. And I chose to be with you. So they said they had two bills. One bill really should have taken maybe 3/4 of an hour for the most. The second bill, which was a more important bill that the whole country is talking about, is where they want to put obstacles with respect to the Freedom of Information Act. And then also in that bill, they want to give themselves some massive increases in salaries when they get their pensions, because they know they're going to lose the elections. So what's the hurry, we asked them? What's the hurry? What's the hurry to pass those two things, bring it Friday for the first time, and say, come Monday to debate it? You know, when I left, they were just filibustering on the first bill that should have taken 45 minutes. We went there from 1:30, I sat there, and I left at something after 7. They were still filibustering with the first bill. And I just spoke with Chief Whip. I said, Chief Whip David Lee, you know, they're still filibustering with the first bill, and now we are at 8:30. So 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 7 hours wasting time in Parliament, kicks in Parliament, as they say. Just wasting time when people wanted and are still queued in to hear what they want to do with freedom of information and what are the increases they are attempting to give themselves. So I told you I made that decision. I'll come down here, and if they're still up there, when we're done here, I'll go back up there. I'll go back. In the meantime, we have our parliamentarians, we have a team to fight them inside the Parliament, and we have a team to fight them outside of the Parliament. From the crowd I see here tonight, I think that the team in San Fernando West and environs, they are ready to send an eviction notice to Faris Allworry. And the eviction notice they have drafted to send to Mr. Faris Allworry, well, Mr. Worried right now, is this. Dear Faris, you have done nothing for the people in San Fernando West. You have done nothing to improve their job prospects, nothing to improve their children's prospects for a better future, nothing to improve their health care, nothing to improve their safety, nothing to enhance the proud city of San Fernando and environs. So listen, under your watch and under your boss's term in office, we are seeing thousands of Petrotrin workers have been sent home. We are seeing equipment malfunction in the hospital, sick people lying on the floor, they can't get a bed, no medicine. But you continue to collect a fat paycheck every month from the taxpayers, and in return, you collect all the rentals from the properties owned by the Faris clan. You are just living off the hard-earned taxpayers' money. You are a deadbeat tenant. Pack up your bags and go, Faris. So, what do they have to hide? Or what are they trying to hide? And that's what I will have talked about there. I'll talk to you tonight. Talk about government secrets and why they want to place obstacles in the way of citizens who have the right to know under the Freedom of Information Act. And that is where they are attempting to amend the Freedom of Information Act. So before I go there, all this paper is all in my head by now, so I'll just be guided by the paper. So first of all, what they want to do, they brought a bill. They bring a bill in which they are seeking to amend several pieces of legislation. It is called a miscellaneous tax amnesty, pensions, freedom of information, national insurance, central bank, and non-profit organizations bill. So first of all, it's a total hodgepodge, mishmash, kalaloo, pila, what you want to call it. They throw everything, including the kitchen sink, into this bill to take care of themselves. Everything in it. And then, God is always great. When I'm doing the preparations, the bill fell on the floor, and when I tried to pick it up, it was open onto page 8 of the bill. And you know what page 8 says? Page 8 says, I confirm and certify this is a money bill, Speaker. Then they have another one, I confirm the above, President of the Senate. So the way the process works is that when the bill comes to us in the House, we pass it, we don't pass it, whatever it may be, we pass it, it goes up to the Senate. Okay? But if it is classified as a money bill, according to the Constitution, the senators cannot make any amendments or any changes. But then the Constitution tells us what is a money bill. So if you have a bill dealing with tax amnesty, pensions, freedom of information, national insurance, central bank, non-profit organizations, it is not a money bill. The Constitution tells us, all my papers. The Constitution tells us clearly what is a money bill. And it tells us at section 64 and 66 of the Constitution. Okay? What does it say? You remember, this is the Bible of our nation, huh? This is the supreme law of Trinidad and Tobago, the Constitution. 66 tells us this. In relation to sections 63, 64, and 65, money bill means a public bill which, in the opinion of the Speaker, contains only provisions dealing with any of the following matters. Only, keep the word only. The imposition, repeal, remission, alteration, or regulation of taxation, imposition for payment of debt, the grant of money to the state, the appropriation, receipt, custody, investment, issue, audit of accounts of public money, raising or guarantee, again, of a loan, subordinated matters. Tell me how freedom of information falls under only any of these matters. In fact, freedom of information has nothing whatsoever to do with a money bill. Nothing. So, that incompetent Attorney General, today in the Parliament, MP Ronnie Charles was saying, you know, look, what you're all doing in this bill, number one, you could just pay a 2x4 lawyer and they'll get it done in a week. You took 3 years to do it. And Farris said, okay, we'll pay Saparia. Well, Farris, I prefer be a 2x4 lawyer than be an incompetent lawyer as you are. I prefer to do that. So, they're setting up the Speaker, because the Speaker will have to sign to say, I confirm this is a money bill. At the rate they are going, they want to lock up everybody. Speaker, careful. They're setting you up. They might lock you up too. You better watch your case. Watch your case. And then now, it's not a money bill. Why is the haste? What is the haste? Why did they come Friday to come Monday to debate? Why? Okay, so there in this bill, there is something about a tax amnesty. And Mr. Imbert held a press conference talking about tax amnesty, explain everything. And he says this has to start on the 15th of June. So that might be an excuse to run through and hasten this bill. But then the 15th of June is what? A Saturday. So nothing will start on the 15th of June. The 16th is a Sunday. So nobody are going to see about tax amnesty on Saturday and Sunday. Simple matters. But this is in fact, that tax amnesty is a smoke screen to take you away from the freedom of information obstacles and to take your mind away from the hefty pension increases that they're going to give themselves. Smoke screen, a distraction. That's what it is for a far more dangerous set of amendments. So they felt they could have slip it in come Friday, slip it in this bill that has about 5 or 6 different things and get away with it. But God, don't sleep, only wears pajamas. Don't sleep at all. So, you know, I remember a famous saying in the parliament, a fellow named Ken Valley, who is now deceased. He always used to say, you could run, but you cannot hide. So tonight we'll expose them. We'll expose their hypocrisy, their trickery. We'll expose that they're dictators and despots, and they are desperate men. Dr. Bisasa might tell you, look, they're dead, it's just they don't know it. They're going into rigor mortis. Before they go into rigor mortis, they're making sure and put the pension package in here. It is a golden parachute. So somebody told me, I said, explain what you mean by golden parachute. Because we talk about when you're leaving a job, you get a golden handshake. What is a golden parachute? So it means when the plane crashes, you jump in the parachute, but the parachute you get is a golden parachute, given the millions of dollars you're going to be giving yourself in pensions when you crash. So that's where they are at. So let's take the first one. The AG says they're going to amend Freedom of Information Bill. One, first of all, they're going to increase from 30 days. So if you want to find out when they went off to wherever, to Houston and to Holland and London, all these places, you want to find out what they went up there and they did for you, spending taxpayers' dollars. Before, you had to wait 30 days to get a reply. Yes? They have bought all these boats and planes and whatever, millions of dollars. You want to find out what was the deal? What agreements have they signed? What have they given away? 30 days. The amendment now says you have to triple that. You have to wait 90 days. But it's not done. Then now, say you file the question to Ministry of Finance or Office of the Prime Minister. If the Ministry of Finance, public authorities say, listen, we are going to refuse, we're not going to give them the information. If you file an application to find out what is the status of the gun-toting children of a high public official. Yes? There's so many things. If you file for a question to find out how much money the Forest Clan making, apart from the 23 million in 1 Alexandra, the 100 of millions in the 3 Alexandra, the other millions in Agra Street, the other millions in St. Vincent Street. Hello, fellas. First, you have to wait 90 days, and then they have to send that question, because we will send such a question to the Ministry of Public Administration. They then have to say, no, 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 we're not giving you that. They have to send to, you know whom now? The Attorney General. And when he gets it, it's another 90 days. So it's 180 days before you get an answer to your question. By the time you get that answer, they're going out of office. They're going out of office. And then the question is this. This amendment, in my view, has all the makings, as I said, of despotic behavior, yes, of a dictatorship government and of a desperate government, because they want to hide all information as we are in an election year. Cover up everything, you're not getting nothing. More dangerous is that who is the officer? The Attorney General. Everything now you create this bottleneck to go to the Attorney General, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Now the AG says he's doing this to save money. Yeah, right. This is about saving money. You believe that? The only money he's saving is his own. This is not saving nobody money. He said because when lawyers bring these freedom of information cases, they're making money. Well, the reason is because you all and your officials in the ministries and elsewhere, they're acting wrongfully. That is why the courts of law will give a judgment in your favor. So AG, I come back again. If you want to save money, cancel the contract for the $23 million for Free Alexander. Cancel the contract for the $100 million you make already with respect to the other one, which was, the first one was one Alexandra. And all these other contracts for properties from the Faris clan, paid for by whom? Your taxpayers. You're not serious. You just want to save money for your friends and family, but you don't want to save money for the taxpayers and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. In the first place, this was done, no consultations, and now you have all these bodies coming out. I brought these newspapers from today, just to show you the headlines. It's the clause 7 of the bill. Withdraw clause 7, Trinidad Guardian today. Hold your hand, AG. 30 groups called again about the same clause 7, Trinidad Express. So this is all over the news. And up to just a few minutes ago, what are they doing? Filibustering about some bill about proliferation of something that could have been done. Just inserting a definition, 45 minutes. So that's where we are. No consultations. The Law Association yesterday support the call for public consultation. They said the Freedom of Information Act has become a cornerstone in civil society's effort to hold authorities to account. There's a statement put out by 30 civil society groups, 30, again saying, hold your hand, let's talk, let there be discussions if you're making all these changes. There are other groups that are coming out as we speak every moment. When they ask the AG, so what will you do? He said, wait and see. Well, we're still waiting because he's still filibustering in the parliament about proliferation of something. There we are with this, no consultations. I want to ask the AG. He always talks about the models. He always say, well, Australia doing it, Canada doing it, Jamaica doing it. I want to tell you, we went through over 100, that team who sat with me last night, lawyers, over 100 countries in the world. And will you believe not a single one has a wait period anywhere near to 80 days, 90 days, or even to 180 days. I'll just do it very quickly because we spent a lot of time doing this, Adam, you remember, and Sean. So here we are, right here in the Commonwealth, Caribbean. Antigua and Barbuda, 20 days. Belize, 14 days. And the second thing, the AG inserted himself into this process. I'll do those 2 points at the same time. Antigua, Barbuda, 20 days. You can get 20 additional days if there is extensive record. Here, it is a public authority, not the AG. Belize, 14 days. Again, the prescribed authority, not the AG. Cayman Islands, 30 days. Again, the public authority. Continuing. Guyana, 30 days. Information Commissioner, not the AG. Jamaica, 30 days. Public authority, not the AG. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 30 days, public authority. St. Kitts Nevis, who passed their law just last year, 2018, 30 working days, and again is a public authority. Barbados, They have a draft law, a draft bill. It says 3 days and 2 weeks, public authority. The Bahamas, they have a 2017 act, not fully implemented, but they also say 30 days, public authority, not the AG. St. Lucia, they have a 2009 draft. They say 20 working days, which can be extended to 60 days. Right here, all around us, nobody has anything but 90 days. Nobody has at the AG, a political appointee, will intervene in these matters. I go to the Commonwealth countries. We have about more than 18 of these Commonwealth. Australia, 30 days, not the AG. Bangladesh, 20 days. They have an information unit, not the AG. Bermuda, 28 days, public authority, not the AG. Look, I can go through the whole 100 here, but I know you're getting bored. But take my word for it, nowhere in the world, nowhere, even in places like Iran, Saddam, we had for like Iran, nowhere in the world is anybody given 90 days and then an additional 90 days. And nowhere in the world the AG is the person to make the final decision. So something, we always say they are not living in the real world. They are living in a fantasy land somewhere. So this is all the data here. And nowhere could we find 90 days and then an additional 90 days. We cannot accept this, and tonight I want to give the undertaking that should they pass this, because they want to pass it with a simple majority, we will challenge them in the courthouses. We will challenge them in the courthouse. And when we form the next government with your votes and your help, we will repeal every line, every word, every sentence in this act. Every single line and word. Every single word that they have put in here to stifle the Freedom of Information Act. Then now we have another issue, because they're saying they can pass it with a simple majority. But again, this is an Attorney General who believes you can remove the certificate and clauses to have a special majority. Even you could just take it off with a stroke of pen, and then he's fine. He will pass it with a simple majority. But again, we have the Bible, the supreme law of our land, the Constitution. And we will challenge him, as I say, in the courts with the help of the Constitution. Look what he's doing. When you look at the Freedom of Information Act, the public bodies are several, but one is the Parliament. Another one is the Court of Appeal, High Court, Industrial Court, Tax Appeal Board, Court of Summary Jurisdiction. So you have the Parliament, and then you have what? The judiciary. Then you have service commissions. And in the law of our great republic, no political appointee must give any instruction or direction to any of these constitutional bodies that are independent bodies. You know, I told them that. So the service commissions are set up by Section 120 of the Constitution. They are deeply entrenched. You cannot interfere with them. The Parliament is also by Section 39, created by the Constitution. The judiciary also in Chapter 7 of the Constitution, protected. You cannot interfere and you cannot tell them anything. No. The last time we had this fight, the Attorney General came to Parliament, and you see this 2x4 AG, I beat you once in the courthouse, and I will beat you again in the courthouse. They came to Parliament. They inserted the Minister of National Security, again a political appointee, in the process for recruiting a commissioner of police and a deputy commissioner of police. I told him in the parliament that is unconstitutional. Oh, no. Superior SC, who thinks she's a senior counsel. Yes, I am a senior counsel. Thank you, God. I think when you look at Farris' face in the parliament and he says, senior counsel, he's smirking, but I think he's just jealous. Just plain jealous. So we went to court. We filed the case in court. And the name of the case was Rajkumar. Just 1 second. A retired police officer. His name was Rajkumar. And we brought the case against the Attorney General. Haridat Maharaj. I'm very sorry. Haridat Maharaj, retired police officer, versus, guess who? The Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago and the Police Service Commission. The judge was Justice Peter Rajkumar, July 14, 2016. This was the judgment. And the court made it very clear. Look, see, I did this case with a great lawyer. I think, what's his name? The worried fellow. Farris, all worried. He's just jealous of this lawyer too. Senior Counsel Anna Ramlogan. Ms. Jayanti Lakshmidial, Mr. Alvin Pariag Singh, and Mr. Bailey. We all appeared for Haridat Maharaj. And in this judgment, the judge was very clear. Section 1 of the Constitution, I don't want to get into too much law, but I have to share it with you because this is the exact way we'll be challenging what they're doing in the Freedom of Information Act. Section 1 of the Constitution says Trinidad and Tobago is a sovereign democratic state. And that has been interpreted in the Privy Council and elsewhere, and right here in Trinidad and Tobago, to mean that we must have something called the separation of powers. So you have the judiciary I told you about, the parliament, and you have what is known as the executive, which is the politicians. They cannot blur the lines. So the AG cannot give directions and instructions to any of these bodies. They are public bodies protected by the Constitution. I hope to have read some paragraphs, but you'll take my word for it. It's all here in the judgment. And any budding young lawyers and student lawyers, go look for Haridat Maharaj and the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago. So again on the FOIA, there is no precedent in the world for what they attempted to do. And secondly, they are acting unconstitutionally in inserting the Attorney General into a process where he has no business. And what would he be doing there? Why do you think they want to put him in there? Farris says it's to save money. I think he's going there to mako everybody's business. And then turn around and use your personal information against you. Because when you file, somebody files an application, they have to send it to the AG, as I said. But they won't send the application. They will send what? The information for the AG to make a decision. So that man is a mako man, going to mako everybody's business. Everybody's business. There's more. You know about that. I think you all know him well in San Fernando. I think he absconded. I heard someone say he has absconded from San Fernando. So that's one set of things they want to do, and I'll spend a little more time on another day. But trust me when I say, we will take them to court and we will win. And we will take them to elections and we will win. And when we win that, of course, as I said, we repeal every word, every full stop, every comma that they have put in. Daddy, come. Just need some help to move up these so I can bring the next pile of people. Please. Move these. Yeah, these. This set. Take these off. Okay, the second one is the pensions. Well, this thing is so obscene. I think when you all hear this, you will want to vomit. when you hear what they are planning to do with a simple majority for their own pensions, it is obscene. And when you consider there are people in this country who get, $3,500 for pension under what they call senior citizens. People on the NIS pensions, what do they get? I am told 3,000 minimum, 3,200 maximum. Hear what they want to do. They first want to, they want to change the meaning of salary. So under the law, you get a pension based on your salary. And that salary was defined as just basic salary, no allowances. They now want to amend the Prime Minister's Pension Act. They want to amend the Parliamentarians Act. And don't feel it's for us, eh? Opposition senators get $13,000 a month. Opposition MPs get, I think, about 17, and when they take away tax, nothing near there. Whereas the ministers get over $50,000 a month. They get allowances, the opposition don't get allowances. So they want to amend salaries now, on which you will base your pension to say what? The salary now includes, in addition to your basic salary, housing allowance, and something called a personal allowance. Well, let me get the numbers so you have it in another file, and you will be amazed. So everybody in the newspaper and on the TV, everybody is doing what? Talking about Freedom of Information Act. Yes, it is important. Yes, we have a remedy for that as we challenge it in the courts. But if they pass this pensions one, we cannot repeal it. Because in law, money is property, and you cannot take away property. You just can't pass a law to take away the pensions and reduce it. So I think we have to pay more attention to this one, on the pension. So, salary now. Hear the story. And this is at a time when this Prime Minister stands up every Monday morning and tells you to do what? Tighten belt. Yes? Hear what he says. As a means of extricating the nation from the whatever state of affairs, bold and decisive steps have to be taken to save the day, not the least of which was a directive to all ministries and state corporations to reduce expenditure by 7%. The first signal of the call to the nation that was belt tightening was inevitable. Hear this one. Prime Minister, every road to be built in this country has to be built by the government. Every school, every health center, this, that, every that. Because in the country for the past 2 generations, or 2, we have grown up under government. Well, you better begin to be weaned off the government. Remember that? Because the government's shoulder cannot carry the burden anymore. Prime Minister, you and your ministers, you have to wean yourself off the treasury and off the taxpayers' dollars. I have a video, if we could put it up, please. This is where the Prime Minister tells the whole country, I want my money. He wants his money. Do we have the video here tonight? Let's look at the screens.
I've told my lawyer to tell the Parliament, I want my money. I don't like my money to sleep out. I want my money.
I'd like my money, please. That's the call from the PM, who wants parliamentary authorities to pay him for the time he was suspended from the lower house.
To other news, the Prime Minister says that many public sector workers could be jobless, and the government could soon have the difficult choice of paying them the arrears they're owed or not to save their bread and butter.
They're coming outside the Prime Minister's office every week and they're shouting at me in case I have it in my pocket to give them. Well, let me tell them tonight, many of you who enjoy that back pay, who's shouting for that back pay, you may get the back pay and lose your job.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you?
The Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, Franklin Can, said yesterday that about 4,700 employees of Petrotrin will be sent home when the Point-A-Pay refinery is closed.
Workers at the Telecommunications Service of Trinidad and Tobago, TSTT, have begun receiving retrenchment letters.
The recent termination of 30 employees at the University of Trinidad and Tobago.
Another energy company is tonight telling its employees that it has no choice but to restructure its operations, which would result in job losses.
I want my money. I want my money.
That is Prime Minister Keith Rowley. So here we are, he wants his money. He's making sure to change the law to get more money. Whilst thousands of people have lost their jobs. They cannot pay contractors. They don't even pay the geriatric people, the programs. So many workers, they're not paying them. They've cut down the gate. Yes, people lost their jobs, but he wants his money. He wants his money. And listen to the kind of money we're talking about now. There is something called an SRC report, a Salary Reviews Commission report. And here is the salary of the president. Before, the president would get his salary basic, $64,270 a month. Now, when they make this amendment to include housing, you have to add $28,000. You know what is the total? $92,270 a month. A month. That is what they want to put for retirement for a lady called President Paula May Weeks. They also said that president will get a personal allowance, but nowhere we could find what is a personal allowance, and they've said it for all the officers. So I wonder if they know something we don't know, which is they already know there's a draft SRC report, another one, because this one was done in 2014, and there's something called personal allowance in there, which means will be an added benefit. Okay? Let's go to the judiciary. Now, I agree the judiciary really have very low salaries. But the process of the way they're doing it, this cannot be right. Judiciary, pages 18 and 23 of the report. Chief Justice salary per month, $50,350. For pension, a percentage of that. And has rent-free supergrade housing, or, guess the housing allowance, $28,500, $28,000. A total of $78,350 a month. Further, Justice of Appeal, $42,020, plus the housing of $24,000, $66,000 a month. You all believe that? That's what they are going to increase this thing to. For puny judge, $37,300 salary, $24,000 for the housing, $61,000. And let me remind you that judges pay no taxes whatsoever. So all of this will be tax-free. The Prime Minister, salary, $59,680 per month. But the strange thing is when you go under the category of housing, this is what it says. Housing, official residences, plural, fully furnished and maintained by the state with the necessary complement of household staff. So there's not a dollar figure. It is the house, the Prime Minister's residences. So I don't know why he's given himself an official residence when he's no longer Prime Minister, because this is when he's retired. So I would like them to explain that, but again, I suspect They know something we don't know, that another SRC report will come out before they demit office, and they will put a dollar figure to it. In the same way I read for the judges, I read for president, they said the housing or the 28,000. So they'll put a dollar figure. Minister of Government, Cabinet, $41,030 per month for salary, housing $12,360. Non-cabinet, $33,940, $12,360. That is what Shamfa Kojo will get that as being her pensionable amount. And Darrell Smith and all these other people, the cabinet and the non-cabinet minister. So this is totally obscene, obscene, and we have to raise a hue and a cry about this. So those are the numbers. So they're changing the definition of salary to now include these housing things. But they're doing something else. They're doing something which is called indexation, and that has to do with protection from inflation. So they're saying, now we increase the basic amounts. You know what? Every few years, it will be revised. Even though I'm not in the job any longer, it will be revised, and I will get the same money as the sitting minister, or the sitting prime minister, or the sitting president. Not a single one of the pension schemes in Trinidad and Tobago has that indexation or protection from inflation. So what about the pensioner with the 3,000? What about the NIS with the 3,500? What about the public servants, the police force, the defense force? What about all the thousands of workers in this country? You are discriminated against them in order to give benefits to yourself. The scheme is totally discriminatory. Total discrimination. Total discrimination. So, those are some of the issues. I see the time is getting beyond us. There was just one more issue I wanted to raise, because all this FOIA amendment is coming because of a knee-jerk political reaction against the judgment won by Anand Ramlogan, senior counsel, in the Ravi Balgobin matter against the Attorney General, against the Petrotrin. Maybe I'll use those for another time, but I have here, they had applied for the witness statements in the Malcolm Jones World GTL matter. I have all the witness statements here now. You see, there is a witness statement of Charmaine Batiste, July 2nd, 2012. There is a witness statement of Anthony Chantak, July 2nd, 2012. There is a witness statement, another one from Chantak and another one from Charmaine Batiste. So there are about 4 witness statements. Now you remember the incompetent, worried Faris Alwari, worried. He told the country that they withdrew the $1 billion case against Malcolm Jones because a fella named Vincent Nelson, senior counsel, changed his mind and said that he had seen these witness statements, Nelson, and having read them, he, Nelson, was of the view that they cannot succeed in the case. So you know what? Pull back the case. Discontinue the case. And so the $1 billion case was discontinued. And this is why the lawyers went forth to find out what was in this thing. Because Mr. Nelson, together with Mr. Russell Martineau, had both said there were sufficient grounds to sue Malcolm Jones to recover the billions lost in the Petrotrin World GTL project. And then elections came and went. And within a few weeks, Mr. Nelson provided another opinion to say, hello, fellas, we can't win this case, you know. I saw these witness statements. Nothing in these witness statements gives justification for Vincent Nelson to advise the government to withdraw the case. What had happened? Soon after elections, Malcolm Jones was put on the Energy Board. You remember that? Friends and family all over again. And so they withdrew the case. I tell you, I've read these statements, other lawyers have read them. And this is the point with them. The arbitration witness statements do not provide any justification whatsoever to support Wilson Nelson's tenuous and politically suspicious advice that the court could view this as a bad investment decision without any form of negligence. On the contrary, the witness statements reveal that the board, led by Executive Chairman Malcolm Jones, was like a spectator to the mismanagement and eventual implosion that occurred. It failed to intervene in a timely manner or at all, and ignored the distress signals that could have triggered emergency sirens and lead to immediate surgery. Instead, the board's negligence was compounded when, instead of pulling the plug on the project, World GTL, because they had defaulted in money payments, you know what happened? Malcolm Jones, the board, turned around and they say, hey, don't worry, we'll pay the loan. And that is $1 billion hole we are in today, coming from Michael Jones and this World GTL project. So he was wrong to ignore the warnings from Petrotrin. He failed to ensure proper feasibility study was done. He caused Petrotrin to provide unsecured loans to World GTL, which we have to pay back in a month's time, August. Taking more loans to pay loans, loan upon loan to pay loans. And he failed to conduct a proper due diligence on WGTL to ensure that it owned the technology that they said they had. That in a nutshell. The famous witness statements that took so long. High Court in Trinidad refused. Court of Appeal in Trinidad refused. They took the pre-counsel to say, hey, something not right here. Something is not right here at all. For Trinidad, it's such a small place, all these billions of dollars, they couldn't just drop a case so without checking and making sure that there was a case to answer. The rest is history. You and your children and your grandchildren will have to pay for this negligence on the part of Malcolm Jones in the World GTL scandal. And the escape route, the golden parachute that the PNM government under Rowley gave him to escape that liability. I will speak more on these for tonight. A lot of information, but I need you to share the message. We have to be soldiers in our own fight and in our own cause. So what you hear today, you can defend and you can speak it and you can share, because a lot of people don't hear or don't read. So you go out there. I see you on the Facebook all the time. I say some of you on the call shows, please keep up the battle. We are on the home stretch. We are on the home stretch. Now is not a time to falter. So onward, Christian, Hindu, Muslim soldiers. Onward forever. Backwards never. May God continue to bless you. May you keep strength and may you keep faith. I know I spent a lot of time sharing information tonight, but on other platforms I've shared with you some of our plans. I heard Danny and the others talk about the plans for making San Fernando great again, for getting San Fernando working again. The idea of the smart city, we'll talk more of those. And of course I've shared some of the economic transformation plans that we have to get Trinidad and Tobago working again. I am UNC. I am UNC. I am UNC.